Hi, my name is Michelle Sanders. I'm making this video about my near-death experiences that I've had. And this is also regarding, I've noticed the pattern of other Rh-negative individuals having near-death experiences or traumatic experiences in their childhood. And so I'd like to share mine with you, and if any of you have had similar experiences, please, feel free to share below in the comments. My blood type is O negative. When I was born, I was very sickly, very pale, quiet. When I was 2 weeks old, my mother was at work, and my father worked graveyard, and he was taking a nap, and my sister came to wake him up, said that I was crying and screaming, and he said, well, make her a bottle. So she did, and she brings me the bottle. By the time she gets the bottle to me, I quit crying, and she found me barely breathing. So my dad comes in there, and at that point, by the time he got in there, I was literally almost dead. My lips were blue, my eyes were rolled in the back of my head. So he calls the ambulance. I end up dying, and they have to resuscitate me. What's interesting, they say, infants aren't supposed to have memories, but I actually remember part of that experience in the hospital. And I have other memories, very vivid memories of crawling and jumping out, trying to get out of my crib, and just things that you're not supposed to remember, I remember. But anyway, I remember being in one of those, the little plastic clear beds that they have in the nursery at the hospital. I was in one of those, but mine was enclosed, and there was a light above. It was really hot. I was wrapped in like a blanket, and I couldn't stand how hot it was. And I had all these wires attached to me, and my mother told me that they actually had to put needles in my head, something about the vein size. I don't really know why they had to do it that way, but I remember a nurse coming up to me. My head was here, my feet were here. There was a window where people could view all the babies. And the nurse comes up. She had dark black hair pulled up in a bun. And my mom was standing next to her. And I wanted my mom to hold me, and they wouldn't let my mom hold me. And I just kept screaming, just wanting my mom. And after that, I had like a severe mistrust with doctors. Like, I feel sorry for the doctors that had to deal with me as a kid, because they would try to give me a shot or anything like that, and I would just go ape shit. And they'd have to get nurses to hold me down and stuff. But anyway, so that occurred, and I think that definitely affected me. It helped form my personality. Come to find out, I had a severe case of gastritis, and I wasn't able to hold any of the formula down, and I was severely malnourished, and that's what caused that near-death experience. Fast forward to the age of 4. My grandfather was going to be getting married to my step-grandmother, and we live in Oklahoma. The wedding was in Memphis, Tennessee. So we have a pretty big family. My aunts and cousins and uncles and everybody, we all go to Memphis, Tennessee, and we're staying in a Holiday Inn, and I remember this very vividly. I didn't know how to swim. My mom was taking care of my brother because he was a baby. He was like maybe a year old. And so I'm holding on the side of the pool. And I'm just, making my way around, I even remember what I was wearing. I was wearing strawberry shortcake shorts, little denim shorts with little strawberries on the butt, And all of a sudden this girl comes up. I don't know who she was, some kid. And she goes, come swim with me. And she grabs my hand and pulls me out. And we were near the 6 feet. And Next thing you know, I'm standing at the bottom of the pool, and I can't get to the top. And I start panicking. I see all these people swimming. I'm screaming, and just all these bubbles are going up. And then I see my cousin jump in at the other end of the pool, and the air bubbles stopped. And I was still screaming, but there was no more bubbles. And then it was blackness, just complete darkness. And this little pin drop of light appeared. And it started getting bigger and bigger. And to the point where it looked like the moon. It was like you were looking at a dark sky and a bright full moon. And as the light got bigger, these shadowy figures appeared to the left and the right. I could see hands and forms. And I knew that they were trying to pull me either way. And I knew instinctively, no, don't go to them. They're bad. Keep going towards the light. And I almost make it to, this light is like literally in my face at this point. The darkness is gone. I'm almost through this light. And I see my father's face. He got me out of the pool. He was getting the water out of my lungs and everything. So they take me upstairs to the hotel room and try to calm me down and lay me down for bedtime. And within like 20 minutes of me falling asleep, they said that I was screaming, standing in my bed, trying to get to the air. And so they ended up taking me to the hospital. We get there was a gang shooting that happened that night. So all these bloody people, in the ER. And I was screaming and freaking out because the doctors, they just didn't want to deal with me. So they checked me out and sent me on my way. Yeah, for about 4 years, I had recurring nightmares of drowning. And my parents would come in, they would hear me screaming, and they'd have to come in and tell me that it was okay, I wasn't drowning. And so that really affected me. And my childhood was really hard. I've always been eccentric and different. I'm left-handed, I'm an artist, I'm a conspiracy theorist. As a teenager, I was like in the middle, back in elementary, and then it transformed into like, the goth punk era for me. And I was always a very countercultural, political person. But later on, this is my last experience that I would consider a near-death experience. I was 20. I had just got paid that day. I didn't have a license. I had borrowed my sister's car to go buy a carton of cigarettes. If this tells you how long ago it was, a carton of cigarettes was like $16 back then. So, we were going to be moving that weekend, and that night we were going to go see the Blair Witch Project. It was like opening night, so I was like super psyched about seeing it. And so I go buy a carton, I go to the stoplight, and I'm listening to music and not really paying attention. And the light that I was at was like literally, like a half a block away from the light that had always been there. This was a new stoplight that was put in. And so I hit the gas, the light turns green, I hit the gas, and all of a sudden I hear an audible voice, not in my ear, in my head, almost like hypersonic sound. It would be the way to describe it. And it was right here. And I heard, I don't know why it was right here and why that mattered at the moment, but it was right here, and I heard a woman's voice say, "Move," like very forcefully, like, "Move." So I slammed on the gas, and next thing I know, I'm doing a 360 in this intersection. And my cigarette drops down my shirt, and I'm burning myself. And I never saw the car that hit me. I don't know what color it was. If it was a truck, I have no idea what it was. I pulled off into a parking lot, and a woman had witnessed it, comes over and checks on me. And I'm freaking out because I don't have a license. It wasn't my fault. I had a green light, but I was freaked out about that. And this is when people didn't have cell phones. I had one friend that had a cell phone at the time. It wasn't common. People still had pagers during this time. And oddly enough, my best friend drives by at this moment. She comes and checks on me, her and her boyfriend at the time. And I tell her to go tell my sister about the wreck, and I decided to get out and look at the car, and where they hit the car was behind the passenger door on the driver's side. If I wouldn't have hit the gas at that moment, the guy was going 40 miles an hour, had no intention to stop. It was like a full-on 40-mile-an-hour impact. And it would have hit me and probably killed me, They ended up arresting me because I didn't have a license, and I had to spend, it was like $170-something to get me out of, to pay to get me out of jail. And I had like $13 left when it was all said and done. I was really upset about that. But those experiences, they affected me spiritually. And I've noticed on other people's channels, other RH negative individuals that share their experiences, that they've had near-death experiences, a lot of like paranormal situations, which I am going to make a paranormal video sometime soon, because I've had a lot of those experiences. But I'm curious to know if any of you have had a near-death experience. Would you like to share it with me? Did it happen, in childhood? And if, you saw any beings, or did you see the light? Did you actually cross over? So I'm curious to know. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for your time.